The theory of interaction is a new approach of nature. It generalizes mathematical and natural systems, so it is able to formalize interaction, the essential phenomena that generates order, chaos, and life. This is a quick view of what you will find inside the book. The theory of interaction starts by introducing a new way of understanding dimensionality for mathematics and nature. An equation is a system that converts contents from one dimension to another. A dimensional conversion means that a value in one dimension is converted to a value on other dimension. This can be generalized. All systems, not only equation systems, are transformers of contents between different dimensions. Dimensional conversion is not always trivial. An equation of more dimensional complexity may include factors that represent not pure, but mixed and compound dimensions. That means that some factors can include mixed dimensions. Pure dimensions are useful in mathematics, but that doesn't mean that compound dimensions do not exist in nature. So, equation factors represent compound dimensions that enter, are transformed, and leave a system. Natural systems behave exactly the same way. A plant accepts dimensional inputs as sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, and generate outputs as natural organic matter, water, and oxygen. As you can see, inputs and outputs may contain and share dimensions to form compound dimensions. For example, sunlight is pure energy, but CO2 is also matter, and it is also energy. For natural systems, those are just inputs and outputs. The theory of interaction also introduces the concept of subjectivity. Some inputs and outputs cause no impact to other systems, due to they may have access only to part of the whole process. That is, they may have a subjective approach of the system. For example, animals provide CO2 as input for plants, and they receive oxygen as an output. A plant may process other inputs and outputs, but for an animal, a plant is just a sort of air purifier. This is called interaction. After having a comprehensive definition of a dimensionality and subjectivity, we can define interaction as an exchange of dimensional contents with subjective values between two systems. Interaction generates order in nature. Due to it requires couples of systems to enter in a state that can allow the actual interaction. Physical limitations prevent interaction, and acquiring order is the only way to interact. So we say that order is the dimensional disposition present during interaction. For example, you need to be close to other person to talk with him. You both require some order to interact. Why do we say that entities require to adopt a dimensional disposition to interact? Following the example of a conversation, you can talk also by the phone. This is a different dimensional content that requires a different type of order to interact. The dimensional order in this case is different. You don't need to be in front of the other person to perform the interaction. The theory of interaction also proposes a definition of chaos. Chaos is simply the lack of interaction. On the last example, when you finish talking with the other person, you do not need to be in front of him. Order on the talking dimension has finished and chaos has raised for the same dimension. Order and chaos can coexist on the same couple of interactors for different dimensions. Interaction is the root of existence. When interactions repeat and couples are stable, small-scale entities provide existence to higher-scale systems. That means creating new entities. For example, you interact with your sons and husband or wife, so you provide existence to a family. Interaction can provide negative or positive profit to entities that interact. Natural interactions commonly provide of positive profit to entities. For example, animals benefit of oxygen that plants generate. In exchange, they generate CO2 that trees profit to develop natural organic matter, that is, to grow, to acquire order. An interaction can be also negative for an entity. On a negative interaction, the entity absorbs chaos. That means that its internal subsystems stop interacting. If two or more subsystems of an entity have stopped interacting in all dimensions, the entity dissipates to the next smaller fractal scale of existence. Nature seems to encourage matter to interact, but nature destroys entities that don't interact well with the other entities and the environment. The systemic and objective view forces inputs to be equal to outputs. This is called linear behavior. But the subjective view means inputs must be different to outputs, due to we are observing only a part of the whole system performance. So, an entity may get a net benefit from an interaction. It may absorb order from an interaction. This local gain of order or chaos is called nonlinear behavior. So, small entities gain order and existence along time, providing them to bigger entities that repeat the mechanism. This is the explanation of existence and biological life. For the theory of interaction, a rock has the same level of life than an animal. Interaction follows a set of principles. The principles apply to all levels of interaction, from atomic to social. Knowing the rules of interaction may help developing a company strategy, a personal or a political plan. But maybe the most urgent application of this theory is to revert the environmental damage. The theory of interaction may be our strongest resource to fight against the destruction of the environment. The only thing humans need to do to reduce the ecological footprint is just to imitate nature. The theory of interaction predicts that by imitating nature on our daily interactions, the ecological damage will begin to reduce and humanity will be able to hold a sustainable development. We invite you to visit idor.org. We are a non-profit organization that promotes healthy interaction for a better life, for a better education, for a healthy economy, and for saving our planet.